Welcome back to another episode of Nature Aquariums TV, where today we are going to be scaping this beautiful UNS All-in-One 30A as a guppy tank. But before we get in with our show, please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. We have this beautiful UNS 30A tank, which is a freshwater model, as you can tell by the white background. We've covered these in another video, which I'll post at the end of the video. What I really wanted to do is to showcase this as a beautiful family tank. We get a lot of customers come into our store with young kids, and they're always looking for a tank that would be a good beginner tank for them to introduce their small children to the world of fish keeping. And obviously the first thing that comes to their mind is they're thinking of a beta. I personally love betas. I think they're awesome. But the reality is, if you're getting male betas, you can only keep one in a tank, and small children want to see a lot of activity, a lot of color, and a lot of movement. That's what their eyes are tuned for, which is why toys are so colorful. That's why they radiate towards colored crayons. And while betas are incredibly beautiful and they're super colorful, but you really can only keep one per tank. One of the things that has drawn to me and that I've had good success with setting these up at preschools and with families with kids has been doing fancy guppy tanks. You can keep a lot more of them into a tank, especially when you go with males only. They have their beautiful colors, their tails, and they're constantly moving around. Now, giving them the joy of feeding, putting their hand in a guppy tank and having all those guppies swim up to them, I think it's going to be far more impactful than having a beta. But that being said, I'm always trying to look out for what would be a good sized tank, what would be easy for someone who's a beginner, and I couldn't think of anything else more than an all-in-one. As you know, with the all-in-ones, the filtration's already built into the back. There are no hang-on-the-back filters, and it stays the system a lot more compact. What's nice with the UNS 30A all-in-one is that it kind of meets the aesthetics look, that it's beautiful enough that you can put it into your living room or to a kitchen countertop with its frameless design, the 45-degree cut corners, low iron glass, which is going to give you the maximum color rendition of the fish, but also it is simple and easy enough to maintain. So that's what we're going to scape today, and come on with me as we take you on this journey. Here we have the UNS 30A freshwater model. Kind of want to go over what comes with the tank and how to set everything up. You do get your pump with an adjustable air water intake, so you can adjust the flow, and this is always, the pump goes in sideways and the elbow goes at perpendicular at 90 degrees. It also comes with the Aquario NeoFlow pipe. This is nice because it increases the flow and it disperses it instead of doing a hard nozzle. So you set it like so. The next thing you get, you're going to get a set of bio bricks. And these are from UNS. They're to hold the biological bacteria. 2 should be sufficient, but in this case, this is going to be a higher stock tank because of the guppies, and I want to make this tank as foolproof as possible. So I am going to add a little sachet of Matrix. What's nice is that Matrix Seachem has them with the 35 to 55 for their hang on the back filters. So they already sell these already in a Ziploc bag. We're going to rinse both of these and set them in the middle chamber, which means that I don't have to buy a separate bag for these. So they're very affordable. They are very, very dusty. Always go rinse your biomedia under running water, and especially the Matrix. It is very, very dusty. That dust is not harmful, but it's going to cloudy up your water, and that's one thing we don't want. The last component, it's the sponge. This is your biological area. This is where you're going to put your bricks, your media, and also if you need to run a heater, you can put this right into that middle chamber. The back is nicely finished in white, and the sides have a water level indicator. One thing you have to keep in mind, you should see these 2 windows as a level. Basically, if it starts dropping below into the second chamber, that's a good indicator that you should be adding more water. Since this is a freshwater tank, there's no salinity changes like on a saltwater tank, but always make sure that you keep your freshwater levels between here to here, as the flow comes somewhere around over here. Last thing I want to cover, and this is some confusion, the water level inside the tank is always going to stay consistent because it's never going to go higher than the weirs. The weirs are the little slits here where water passes through. Where it's going to drop the water levels down here. So customers ask us, well, where do you add the water? Water always finds its own level. So you can go ahead and add additional water anywhere in the tank. Eventually, it's always going to level itself out. So as you pour water into the main area, this level here, it's going to rise up and it's going to even itself out. When you lose power, all this water is going to drain and all 3 chambers will be filled with water, but they'll never exceed an overflow. That's by design of these tanks. The last thing I'm going to tell you, once you turn on your pump, the water levels here are going to drop. So when you fill this tank up, you're going to see water filling into the back chambers, water filling in here. When you turn on the pump, you're going to notice this level drop. That is normal. And as the pump is running, that's where you should keep your water level above into the upper chamber. And that'll be your normal running level. And that's what I wanted to cover with you guys on the all-in-ones. One of the things I want to use is these are from UNS. These are what they call Dragonstone showpieces. They come in 2 sizes, a 20 centimeter and a 30 centimeter. What I like about them is that they're preformed. They have a nice flat base to set your stones on. And it has a lot of nook and crannies that I'm going to fill with Anubias and Bucephalandras. And this gives me a very, very easy aquascape to do that we're going to set this up in a matter of minutes. This is going to be a super low maintenance tank. We're only going to use sand, gravel at the bottom. We're not going to use any rooted plants. Everything's going to be epiphytes in this tank. The reason I'm doing epiphytes, I want this to be a beginner-friendly tank. All we're going to have to do with this tank is going to be a little bit of liquid fertilization. Everything's going to be grown either on rock, like these beautiful Anubias on lava rock, or I'm going to glue them onto this beautiful piece of dragonstone. For the background, I'm going to choose 2 larger Anubias. You have to set them so that they're low enough. As they grow, they'll give room for growth, but not so low that it doesn't look right when you first set it up. And to set them, we're going to use plant glue. One thing I want to share with you is whenever you are going to work on a piece that has a front and a back side, always work on the back first, because it'll allow you to work on the front and have a better sense of composition. Plus, you're going to crush whatever you have in the front when you lay it like this. As you can see, we kind of created a very bushy look in the back, and all this is going to grow. Now we're going to focus on the front. I want to find where we're going to put these beautiful golden Anubias in the front. And we're placing some of these plants through different spots to give it that sense of scale. These are beautiful dark angels, and I'm thinking they would look nice there. And then these smaller guys we can use up front. And then we're going to use the smaller Anubias and get them on the top. So I kind of think I like what this is, how this is coming about. So I'm going to take them down and start gluing them in place. It's important to note that some of these plants, you don't always have to use glue to hold them. If you find a proper nook and cranny, they'll actually stay in there and then the roots will take over. One other thing I'm going to tell you, always use glue that's been deemed safe for reef or for plants. Aquarium safe. I would not buy or use something at Home Depot because they do put other chemicals in there. Reef or plant safe glues are devoid of any other chemicals, and it's just the glue itself. The price is about the same as buying something at the dollar store or hardware store, but you want to make sure that what you're putting into your tank is not going to poison your fish or shrimp or animals. So you can see we have a whole mixture of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different Anubias, and these are all epiphytes. They're going to do great with some easy, low fertilization, low light, and decent water flow. That's all they're going to need. They're very temperate on the water conditions, and it'll give some nice contrast with the greens and provide a good filtration system for the guppies that we plan on putting in here. I also wanted to show you the back, how those plants have been attached to the back. What we want to do is place carefully in here, and we are actually going to use this beautiful new sand from UNS called Mojave, which is a very orange brown looking sand. It is very dusty, so we're going to go and actually rinse. I think we're probably going to need about half a bag, but we're going to figure that out. So I'm going to pour half of this into a bucket, I'm going to get it rinsed, and now we're going to pour it in there. And that should be the final steps of getting this UNS 30A guppy tank done. By first sliding your rock to the front, you can get all your substrate back there. Once you have it where you want to, we can then slide that back. Now we can fill in the rest of the front. Now don't worry about smoothing out the sand. It's going to level itself out once you put water in there. So what you want to do is cover the base of that rock, so that way you don't see where it begins, and it'll look like it was part of there all along. And now finally, we have these beautiful Anubias on lava rock that we're gonna kind of like bury like that. And now we're ready to take it to the stand and fill it up. So for lighting, we wanted to keep this white monochromatic look, which I think it looks phenomenal. UNS did a nice job. They even include a white mat for the tank. And we're going to use an Aqua LED Slim in white. They make these in white or black. And I think the white light over here, it's going to look really well. And it's going to blend in with the whole aesthetics of the tank. These are quite affordable. It's 5 watts, 65K, which is going to grow all the plants very nicely without providing too much light. So as you can see, the tank is quite cloudy from all the dust and the sand. And in order to clear it up, we like using this product from Sarah. It's called Crystal Clear, and it polishes down to 10 microns. Now the difference between this and using regular filter floss is that this is made out of fiberglass. No, it's not going to make your hands itchy, but it's fully washable. And we use these on a lot of our tanks to polish the tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down this sponge down a little bit, and I am going to set this on top to trap all that particulate. Power on the pump, and let's take a look at our tank. The last piece of the puzzle is going to be setting up this beautiful glass top that comes included with all of the UNS all-in-ones. And it does a really great job of concealing your wires, your cable management. And right now, the water level is running a little bit higher than normal. That's because of the filter medium that I have to polish the water. As soon as we pull those out or lower the sponge, it's actually going to drop the water level. So we're going to follow up with this tank in doing our normal cycling, fishless cycling method, in which we're going to do ammonium chloride, bacterial colony, and get this thing cycled in about 3 weeks before we can add guppies in here. We are going to then give you a little follow-up of the guppy tank once it's all done. As always, we really appreciate you guys watching and supporting our channel, supporting our store. Remember, you can find all these products that I talked about clicking the link at the end of the video. It takes us straight to our store. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I wish you a really great day fish keeping. Thanks for watching, guys.